In this video, I'm going to share with you what I personally do to overcome the fear of failure. Now, this video is just going to be to the point and it's going to be direct. So, fear of failure. The easiest thing and the most simplest thing I can suggest, and the very thing that I've done, is fail. The easiest way to overcome something is by doing it. So I'll give you an example. When I was 21, I started to learn about internet marketing. And when I was learning that topic, it was really overwhelming. So what I'd done was I said to myself, well, the only way I'm going to learn and the only way I'm going to be able to do this is by doing it. And based off previous experiences on other things that I've done, I've always thought to myself, well, if I don't try this, if I don't try to do it, how am I ever going to be able to overcome that fear of failing? Because the easiest way to overcome it is by failing. Think of like when you were learning to ride a bike as a kid. The feeling of actually getting on the bike wasn't that bad. It was the feeling of falling to the side and smashing your leg or your head or your knee onto the ground, which hurt. So that fear stops a lot of people from learning how to ride a bike because it hurts when you fall down. It's going to hurt when you hit your knee on the floor. But in order to get over that fear, as common sense as this sounds, it's not common practice. In order to get over that fear, you have to put yourself in a position of being vulnerable to be able to sit on the bike, to get on the bike. Then what happens afterwards is that learning phase, that learning curve, which does involve normally falling off the bike. And then when you fall that first time and you realize that it's not an entirely broken leg, it might be a bit messed up, it might be a bit bruised and bloody, but it's not a broken leg and you're not gonna, be crippled from this. That fear goes away. And in the next time when you get on the bike, the confidence level is drastically different. So the goal that I always have in my head when I'm trying to think of, well, I'm scared of this or I'm a bit fearful of failing. The thing I have in my head is, well, I'm only going to learn, I'm only going to find out by failing. And yes, you can learn from other people's experiences. It's very wise. But what I've found is certain things you can learn from other people, and there's certain things that you can't. I'm speaking about failures in particular. So yes, you can learn from other people's failures, and then you won't make those same mistakes. But in my opinion, I feel like the lesson and the knowledge, the wisdom that's picked up through failing is where like the true magic and the true benefit and the true gift lies. Because if you mess up yourself and you actually go through it, yeah, you can say, well, I might have not messed up if I listened to him or her. But going through that experience of messing up, it's so different to hearing somebody else mess up because you haven't felt what it feels like to mess up, whereas they have. I actually make it part of my, of course I don't want to make it my goal to like just mess up, but I make it part of my sort of process that's going on in my mind that, look, I'm going to find this thing scary, I'm going to find this thing hard, and I'm scared of failing at it. And it does, scare me a bit, but I have to fail. I have to fail to be able to get the point. I have to fail to be able to learn the moral of the story, to be able to understand why I failed and then be able to improve it. And then yes, you can share that with others. And like I said, it's highly beneficial and it's really helpful to be able to share your failures so that other people don't have to make them. But you still kind of have to go through something yourself to get over that fear and actually fail. And another thing with this whole fear of failing is when you actually fail, you now learn and you find out and discover what doesn't work. So now you can actually improve upon the thing that you tried, the way that you done it, the tactic, the method, whatever it is. You now get the opportunity to be able to improve that. So I think there is a lot of benefit in actually experiencing some level of failure. You don't want it to be, life-threatening failure or something that's going to cripple you, but you want to be able to fail in a comfortable way where, actually, I think I should take that word comfortable back. You want to be able to fail in a way where it's uncomfortable, but it's not so uncomfortable to the point where you just quit, because that's just going to traumatize you. So be bold in the things that you do and embrace failure. Just embrace that you are going to fail. You are going to come across obstacles. You are going to come across barriers. But what makes life fun and enjoyable, as hard as it can be at times, what makes it so fun and enjoyable is this whole journey of like learning, of changing, of growing, of learning new things, then being able to share those things with other people. I think that's, a lot of the beauty in life and a lot of the things that we take for granted. It's those experiences and the things that we can learn from. And of course, going through your own failures and going through your own obstacles and then sharing that with others, giving other people a sort of an insight of what may potentially happen. Because if you are pursuing anything that's worthwhile, you are going to have some kind of fear and you most likely will fail. So if you like videos around trying to improve yourself, then a few weeks ago, I actually released a video on self-discipline and why it's so important. And I think self-discipline is so important because motivation dies down. You can feel motivated one day and not motivated the next day. But self-discipline is what's going to last and it's what's going to keep you accountable.